Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I know that my last video was 6 ways to tell what country you're in on GeoGuessr, but this time, I'm just gonna do a bunch more. I think I have like 32, ways to tell what country you're in on GeoGuessr. So yeah, they'll range from very easy to lesser known. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. So I'm now in Riga, Latvia, which this tip is not only in Riga, Latvia, except it is really helpful for European languages. So if you see like a flat line like this and this over a letter, like this U and the I, then you should always be in a Baltic country, so Latvia, Lithuania, or Estonia. In this case, I am in Riga, Latvia, which is probably, if you're not sure, probably the best place to go, because it's sort of right in the middle of the 3 Baltic countries, and it has a lot of coverage. So yeah, this line over the I is a really good way to tell a Baltic language apart from the rest of Europe. If you see this car right here, which has like the red on top of the mirrors, and you can see that it's a green car with 4 roof racks and both mirrors visible. This car is only found in Bangladesh, so that can be really useful. Paired with the language, Bangladesh is quite actually the easy country to get right. So Mexico City comes up literally all the time on the world map. So you'll probably see these quite a bit. And these are Mexico City taxis. Obviously it says CDMX on them, so that's kind of a giveaway. But if you can't really read it and you're far away, and if you see this type of car with pink on top and then like halfway down white, that is a Mexico City taxi, and just going Mexico City is a very good idea because they're only found in and around Mexico City in Mexico. So this is quite the obscure car meta, but this car right here, there's nothing in the front, but in the back there's this sort of like bucket. It's only found in Christmas Island, which is an island near Indonesia that is owned by Australia. So right here, if you go to like Jakarta and just go down, you should see Christmas Island. And yeah, it's actually quite the fun country to line up the road and try and go for a 5K. If you see this Google car with 4 roof racks, and just a black front, no mirrors or anything, then you will always be in Curacao, which is this super small island. I'm pretty sure it's probably Portuguese, and it's to the north of Venezuela. It's very good if you know it and your partner does not know it, because look at how small this island is. If you see this car, then you know that you'll be in Qatar. And just going right in the middle of Doha is probably the best bet. Qatar just got coverage a couple months ago for the World Cup, so oftentimes if you are right in Doha, you will see some World Cup posters, so that makes it pretty easy too. But it is also nice just to know this car so that you don't get it mixed up with anything else like the UAE. Something that can really catch your opponents off guard is getting the right Ukrainian city. It's pretty hard to do that. But probably the easiest way to do it is that if you know that you're in not Norway, Ukraine, if a car has a yellow strip, I don't know if any of these ones do. This one does, I guess, because some cars in Ukraine do have yellow strips. If you see a black car, so if the city that you're in is covered with a black car, it's kind of hard to tell here. I mean, you can sort of see it here. It'll be easier in some other places to see. The only city that was covered with a black car, so the only black car city in Ukraine is Donetsk, which is right over here. It's a pretty big city, but nonetheless, it will really catch your opponents off guard if you get the right city in Ukraine. But yeah, so black car Ukraine, and you are in Donetsk right here. So we've now jumped over to Dublin, Ireland, which this car, I don't really know how to explain it. Kind of looks weird. Silver car. It almost looks maybe like a semicircle, but nonetheless kind of looks weird. And it is only found in Dublin, Ireland. Now we are in France, where on some of the poles you'll see this blue sticker. I don't think that you'll find them on all of the poles, but a good few poles should have this blue sticker if you're in France, and France does usually come up a lot on the world map, so it'll be helpful in competitive modes especially. So right here, I have 3 different cars for 3 different cities in Greenland. So the first one up here is Nuuk, which is just the capital of Greenland. You'll have this sort of big, like silver color, I guess. Yeah, silver color. no roof racks, and this car is found in Nuuk, Greenland. The next one is found in Sisimut, Greenland, and it's very distinct. You won't get this car anywhere else. You get like 2 mirrors. It's gonna be black. And whatever this is, it's found in Sisimut, Greenland, and then finally here in Asayat, you'll find on the left side 1 mirror, and on the right side some like red blur of some sort. And this one is found in Asayat, Greenland. Moving over to Hong Kong. These are Hong Kong taxis. They're like a silver color on top and then red on the bottom. And these taxis are distinct to Hong Kong, which is very small, so you should get a lot of points if you see one of these taxis and you go Hong Kong. Another good tip for the Middle East is that in Israel, it's kind of weird. So Israel has blue strips. Obviously, they're not European Union plates, but Israel uses yellow license plates, front and back, with the blue strip. So another hard country to read, I guess, is Indonesia, but one good way is that these tiled roofs are most commonly found in Java. If you're in Java, you should see them a lot. So if you don't see them, you're probably not in Java. But they can also be found in like South Sumatra. But either way, it is still very close to Java. So going maybe like just near Jakarta is a good hedge if you see these tiled roofs in Indonesia. So here's another fairly well-known tip. But in Japan, the camera will be much, much lower than normal, like closer to the ground. Named low cam, pretty self-explanatory, but in Japan, oftentimes you'll see like the white, or I think you can maybe get black. But the car, you can see quite a lot of it, and it's actually quite close to eye level. So yeah, it's very easy to tell apart from basically anywhere else in the world. So this car meta right here is super helpful to know. This car is only found in one city. It's found in Kampala, Uganda, which is the capital. You can see part of the white car and the mirrors. It's sort of like a big car, except you have no roof racks, nothing, super red dirt. And this car is distinct to just Kampala, Uganda. Okay, so here we have probably the most well-known meta in all of GeoGuessr. That's the Kenya snorkel. There's 2 different types. One of them looks like an actual snorkel. You can see it right there. And then the second one doesn't really look like a snorkel. You'll find it on this black car, and it looks like this. I don't really know why it's called a snorkel, but it is, and as the name explains, you'll just find it in Kenya. This type is a bit more common, but yeah, Kenya snorkel. So if you did not already know, this is the Kyrgyzstan car. It's very a well-known meta, but within Kyrgyzstan, there's another meta that includes the mirrors. So, if you look at the left mirror and you see that about 25% of the road is in the mirror, like this, then you are in the north of Kyrgyzstan. This one is in Bishkek, which is the capital. And then here, this is in Osh. You'll notice that there's a lot less road in the mirror, and that indicates the south. It is a very good meta, especially on high multipliers. With low multipliers, it shouldn't result in too much damage, but with high multipliers, you can take a good couple thousand points off of somebody in duels if you know this meta. So if you see this car, that means that you are in Uganda. You can't really tell like the color of the car. It just has this thing in the back. I don't even know what it really is, but it's pretty distinct. But if you find it, you're not just in Uganda. You have to be over here. There's this Lake George, and you're just to the west. There's only this much coverage with this car. All this blue is covered with the car. So you know that you're going to be in somewhere in this area. It's a very small area. You see this car right here. If you see this sort of landscape with these super green grassy mountains, they can be like pointy like this, or like completely flat at the top. And a white Google car, you will pretty much always be in Lesotho, which is just an enclave of South Africa. Lesotho is actually quite a beautiful country, and it's one of those things where it's like, once you've seen it, you'll know it basically immediately. So like if you've been playing GeoGuessr for a while, you've probably picked up on these Lesotho mountains. Now we are heading over to the Philippines, where, or not the Philippines, sorry, Malaysia. And specifically the peninsula of Malaysia, where on your telephone poles, you look at these black stickers. So you can see black sticker on that pole, black sticker on that pole, black sticker on that pole, that pole. They're like everywhere. And you won't find them on Borneo Island either. And they're specific to the Peninsula Malaysia, which can be super helpful. If you ever see these very distinct plates with like this gold yellow on the bottom and green on each side, then you should be in Manitoba in Canada. This province here, this one right here, sort of just in the middle. And if you're in a big city, I would recommend just plonking somewhere in Winnipeg, and it should result in basically probably like 49, 90 points. So in Mexico, sometimes Colombia, but that's pretty rare. You look at these poles; they are octagonal, so they have 8 sides, and they're very distinct. And they come up all the time in Mexico. So if you see these octagonal poles in like Spanish and stuff, then going Mexico and probably just Mexico City is a very good guess. That'll probably net you many points. So if you haven't already told by this scenery, these long outside dashed road lines are found in Norway only. The Sweden ones are similar with the short dash road lines. But yeah, I tried my best to find a beautiful location in Norway, right in the fjords. Wasn't that hard because there's like all over the northern coast, there's stuff like this. So if you are in Australia, but you're not quite sure where, if you see quite a few yellow plates like this one, then you should be in New South Wales. So usually Sydney is just a good shot there. But yeah, in Australia, these yellow plates aren't found anywhere else except for New South Wales, unless obviously it's a traveling plate. But if you see them like this, like yellow plate, yellow plate, yellow plate, then you should be in New South Wales, Australia. So Brazil is well known for being one of the hardest countries to region guess, and one super useful tip are these piranha pines. They're found in Parana, which is a state in southern Brazil, and also a little bit around it outside the borders, but they're super distinct, long. There's like no leaves or anything, almost anywhere except for the very top, and then it's sort of like a flat surface even on the top. So right here we have what probably at first glance looks to be a black car, but this car you can actually see is a white car, and this is just a big window. So this car is very distinct, and it's only found in the Philippines. So that can be really helpful. You can usually find it in the north, so that's usually probably a safe bet, but I'm pretty sure you can find it sometimes in the south too. But yeah, so white car, big black window, so it kind of looks black. But yeah, it's only found in the Philippines. So if you see a rift like this with this sort of green mountainy landscape, then you should be in either Montenegro or Albania. These rifts are in Europe are only found in Montenegro and Albania. By landscape, they're quite similar countries, but if you find a license plate, then you'll be good, because in Montenegro, you'll have a single blue strip with like the red emblem sort of in Montenegro, closer to the middle. And in Albania, you'll just find a double blue strip, or double blue strips, just like in Italy. So if you find a plate, you should be good. So here in Sri Lanka, you'll get this blur on the car that looks like the French flag. You get the blue, the white, the red. And it's distinct to Sri Lanka. Another good way to tell this is that they have their own alphabet. And some characters like this one kind of look like Among Us characters. It's kind of how I remember it. So these road lines right here are found in Sweden. They can be found in Estonia too. But I'd say they're mostly in Sweden. They are short dashes. You can get them mixed up sometimes with the Norwegian road lines, but Norwegian has long road lines, and Sweden has these shorter ones. So as long as you know what you're looking for, Sweden can be a very easy country to guess with these road lines. So here we are with another fairly well-known tip, but still pretty helpful. And this is the locam in Switzerland. It's not the most obvious thing. The easiest thing to tell by is the blur, super wide blur. But yeah, once you can learn how to tell it apart from the normal camera, it can be very, very useful. A good way to tell that you are in Finland is what the road road names end with. So in Finland, you'll see a lot of signs for little roads. So if I just zoom into one of these little roads, it should end with TIE. Yeah, and there you go. So almost every one of these little roads in Finland ends with TIE. So that's a very good way to tell that you're in Finland, because it isn't really like that in any other language. So a good way to tell that you are in Estonia is if you see a road that ends with TEE. It's not like Finland where like basically every road ends with that, but quite a lot of them do. So right here you can see TEE at the end. Here TEE. Here TEE. TEE. So yeah, quite a few roads do end with it, but just remember that if you don't see it, that doesn't mean that you're not in Estonia. Just quite a few of the roads do. So the Turkish language is very distinct, but one certain letter is probably the easiest way to tell it apart. If you see these two eyes right here, you'll notice that this long straight part is literally like the same height as all the other letters, and there's a little dot on top. So in the eyes, the long straight part is a lot taller than normal, and it's very distinct. It's only in the Turkish alphabet, and it's very common in Turkey. It's even the first letter in Istanbul. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way until the end. Sorry if this video was quite a bit longer than usual, but it did take quite a bit of work, so if you could drop a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. And yeah, if you have any more useful tips, like the ones in this video, just comment them down below, and I can make another part to this sort of little series that I've started. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.